Hello and welcome to Forza Horizon 4 and another installment of Good Tunes for Bad Drivers. Now if you're one of the dozen or so people who watched last week's video, welcome back! That video ran a little too long for my taste, so this week I've tightened things up a bit, which wasn't too hard because there's only one big prize this week, the Hoonigan RS200. It's quite possibly the best rally car in the game. I'm pretty sure it's the best S2 class at least, so it's definitely worth winning this week. But before we get to that, let's quickly cover the other two championships, starting with the Retro Saloon Tour. I chose a 1988 BMW M5 for this because of how quick it can be in B-Class, and you'll see in this footage coming up just how easily it cuts through these other Retro Saloons. Already up into 7th, going into the first turn. And yeah, it just kind of flies by. It's not really much of a... This championship isn't really that difficult, but it's also not really... There's not much of a reward. Unlike last week when there were cars in all three, this week you just kind of get some wheel spins, and in one of them you get a ski hat, which, great, I guess. Woohoo. Anyway, up into third. Race is a quarter done. One thing about this tune is you got to make sure that you get on the brakes because it is a B-Class car. It accelerates like it's an A-Class, but it's a B-Class car. So you got to make sure that you're getting in, you got the right speed heading into the turns. Otherwise, you'll get some understeer, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. But anyway, cut that turn up in a second, and gaining on this Volvo. And we're by him, and that's it. You know, that was it. It was pretty easy after that. Yep, the other two races won those as well. So yeah, we got a super wheel spin, a wheel spin, and some credits. Not really much. Anyway, on to Shake Your Tail Feather, which was a weird one because I didn't know. Apparently, starting next week, they're introducing this feature where you can see which cars are eligible for each championship. But yeah, anyway, I chose the Nissan R390 for this one. And you'll see this Ferrari just come across and basically knock me off the track, and I'm murdered. You know, I'm dead. Right there. So yeah, I just, get up and try again after being murdered by Leon Hunk. And going again at the start here, and yeah, I just get pushed off the road again. I don't know what was up with the drivatars in this championship. You know, if I wanted that kind of racing, I would go online. But anyway, after that, first place in all three races. Not much to talk about in this championship. You win a ski hat and a wheel spin and some credits, and that's about it. Tunes for the Nissan and the Beamer are both posted under my gamer tag, so if you want those, just pause the video for the details right now. Anyway, on to the main event, Old Rivals, which in theory is a good idea. I think it's a great concept for a championship. The Lancia versus the Peugeot, they were the two great late Group B rally cars, that and the Ford, which is the car you win if you win the championship. So it makes a lot of sense in theory. But for some reason, the computer only picks the Lancia. So instead of a rivalry, you're just driving against a bunch of Lancias. And I don't know, it sort of takes something away from the idea when there's no Peugeots involved. Anyway, I picked the Lancia as well, and as you can see here, it wasn't the easiest race, but I was making good progress. I'm catching up here on Raptor Runner, and it's funny how even though the rivalry theme of the cars didn't really work out, I really sort of developed a rivalry with this specific drivatar throughout this championship, and you're going to see why coming up here at the end of this race. And you see, I finally got by him there at the bottom of the mountain, and yeah, so now we're back on actual asphalt roads, and I'm not getting the separation I usually get. He's still right on my tail, but I'm pretty confident I'm going to win this race. I look back, that's some decent separation. I stopped looking at the mini-map, and I decided to do a little showboat, and it bites me in the ass. And not only that, we tied. I've never seen this happen in Horizon before. We tied. Right down to the millisecond. We tied. It's nuts. Anyway, I thought that was a kind of a bad omen, so I switched over to the Peugeot for the next race, the Lakehurst Forest Trail. We'll pick things up about halfway through the race here, and this is where I think this track gets really good, because you're just flying, bombing down this hill way faster than the drivatars think you have to go. And yeah, you just sort of chuck the car in there. And yeah, this was not much better overall than the Lancia tune. They were pretty much the same. It's just like flipping a coin. But just because of this last part of the track, you can just go so much faster than the drivatars. Again, the driving line is like telling you to brake, but it's not actually. I took that turn way too slow, to be honest. That last turn there, but it was enough, and so I evened up the championship with that race. Evened things up with Raptor Runner. Happy about that. So I switched back to the Lancia for the final race because Asmore is really a more technical track that requires a little more handling, and the Lancia is better for that, so I switched back to that. But it all came down to this. I had to win this because, true to Horizon form, Raptor Runner's up at the front of this race right now, and unless I beat him, he's going to get more points than me, and I'm not going to get the RS200, which would suck. And to be honest, I did this race a few times before winning it because I just wasn't... I'm just not that great of a driver, and I just wasn't getting the luck I needed. And you'll see in this race, I'm just kind of stuck in 5th for a while here. Can't really make any ground over on paved roads. This car's just not designed for that, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think the drivatars are not using rally tires, which is why, now that we're on dirt, I'm able to start making some ground. Now this is the tricky technical section coming up, and this is why having rally tires is a good idea, even if you keep messing up the turns, like I do. And also, savage lunge right there, just dive bombing that guy, and you know he's gonna complain to the stewards. But this is Horizon, so no one will listen. And I'm just hitting the wall, taking out some ancient stone wall right there, just all over the place, having a good time, but still stuck in 4th here, and trying to figure out a way by. I can see Raptor Runner up there in 1st, and he's the ultimate goal. And coming up here, there's going to be something interesting happens here between two of the drivatars in 2nd and 3rd. They kind of get caught up on this turn, and that opens the door for me. So thank you, drivatars, for fighting. Unbeatable drivatars unless they beat themselves, apparently. So yeah, now it's down to just me and Raptor Runner, and I completely mess up the line on that hairpin. I'm lucky I even caught the checkpoint. That was really bad. But this little section up here, you can go a little faster and, well, ride the wall a bit. I'm not proud of that. Use it sort of to launch yourself into this next part. I'm almost by it. I'm by him. Finally in 1st, right at the end of the stage here, right at the end of the track, and this is it. It took me a few attempts, but I wasn't even gonna bother trying to showboat at the end there. Just making sure. See, we're within a half second, so yeah, came right down to the wire there. Old Rivals living up to its name. If you want to download either of these Old Rivals tunes, the details are up on the screen right now. Just pause the video if it's too fast. But yeah, you want to win this Hoonigan RS200. Let me tell you, you want to win this before the week is over. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Happy driving, and I'll see you in the next one.